The vast, indifferent expanse of the ocean holds secrets that defy logic, narratives that unravel the very fabric of our understanding. Imagine a scenario not from a spy thriller, but from the cold, hard data of a naval operations center, a lone sailboat, a civilian vessel, meticulously tracked by the sophisticated radar systems of a modern navy. For 6 agonizing hours, its faint blip danced across screens, a tiny anomaly in the immense blue. Then, without warning, without a distress call, without a trace, it simply vanished, not just from a single radar, but from every sensor, every satellite feed, every digital eye that had been observing its silent journey. The sea, in its infinite capacity for mystery, had swallowed it whole, leaving behind only questions and a chilling void in the digital tapestry of maritime surveillance. This isn't a tale of a lost signal. It's a story of an absolute, inexplicable disappearance, a technological ghost in the machine that challenges the very notion of omnipresent oversight. To grasp the gravity of such an event, one must first understand the capabilities of modern naval tracking. Military radar systems are not the rudimentary devices of yesteryear. They are highly advanced, multi-frequency arrays designed to detect, track, and classify targets with astonishing precision, often distinguishing between different types of vessels, their speed, and even their course. These systems operate across various bands, S-band, X-band, L-band, to overcome environmental challenges like sea clutter, radar reflections from waves, and atmospheric conditions. Phased array radars, common on warships, can scan vast areas rapidly and maintain continuous track on multiple targets simultaneously. Coupled with satellite surveillance, which offers global coverage and can detect vessels through synthetic aperture radar, SAR, even in adverse weather, the idea of a vessel simply ceasing to exist on a military tracking grid is, to put it mildly, deeply unsettling. Civilian vessels, especially sailboats, typically rely on a combination of GPS for navigation and the Automatic Identification System, AIS, for collision avoidance and tracking. AIS transponders broadcast a vessel's position, course, speed, and other data, which can be picked up by other AIS-equipped vessels and shore stations. Websites like Marine Traffic aggregate this data, providing a near real-time picture of global shipping. However, AIS has limitations. Its range is typically line of sight, extending only a few tens of miles from shore or from other vessels. Beyond that, satellite AIS can pick up signals, but these are less frequent and can have gaps. Crucially, AIS can be turned off, either intentionally or due to power failure. Radar, however, is an active system. It emits signals and detects their reflections. A vessel disappearing from AIS is common. Disappearing from military-grade radar and satellite surveillance is an entirely different proposition. The 6-hour tracking period is particularly significant. It suggests that the sailboat was not merely passing through an area of intermittent coverage. It was under sustained observation, implying a specific interest from the Navy. Why would a civilian sailboat warrant such attention? The possibilities range from routine surveillance in a sensitive area, suspicion of illicit activity, smuggling, espionage, or perhaps even an exercise where the sailboat was an unwitting participant. Regardless of the initial reason, the continuous tracking for 6 hours indicates that naval personnel were actively monitoring its movement, making its sudden disappearance all the more perplexing and alarming. What could cause such a complete vanishing act? The conventional explanations for maritime disappearances often fall short when confronted with military-grade tracking. Catastrophic sinking. A sudden, violent event like a collision with a submerged object, an explosion, or a rogue wave could sink a vessel rapidly. However, even in such scenarios, debris fields often remain, and emergency beacons, EPIRBs, are designed to activate automatically upon submersion, transmitting a distress signal. For a vessel to vanish completely, leaving no debris and no signal, suggests an event of extraordinary magnitude or an immediate, total disintegration. Piracy, hostile takeover. While piracy exists, particularly in certain regions, a military force tracking a vessel would likely detect any boarding or struggle. Furthermore, a hijacked vessel would typically continue to move, albeit under new command, and would still register on radar unless deliberately scuttled or disguised. Intentional scuttling, or disguise. A crew wishing to disappear could intentionally sink their vessel or attempt to alter its radar signature. However, sinking a sailboat without leaving any trace is incredibly difficult, and altering a radar signature to become completely invisible to advanced military systems is a feat of engineering usually reserved for stealth warships, not civilian yachts. Radar malfunction, blind spot. While possible, a malfunction across multiple redundant military radar systems and satellite platforms simultaneously is highly improbable. Radar systems are designed with overlapping coverage and fail-safes precisely to prevent such blind spots, especially when actively tracking a target. Environmental phenomena. Extreme weather, such as a microburst or a sudden violent squall, could overwhelm a sailboat. However, these events are usually localized and temporary, and while they could cause a sinking, they rarely result in a complete disappearance without any residual trace or debris. The ocean itself, with its vastness, can obscure evidence, but a total erasure from all forms of detection is rare. Could there be a more unconventional explanation? The ocean is home to phenomena that are still not fully understood. Internal waves, massive subsurface disturbances, can generate forces capable of tearing apart vessels. Methane hydrates on the seabed can destabilize, releasing gas that reduces water density, causing ships to lose buoyancy and sink rapidly. While these are typically associated with larger vessels or specific geological areas, their potential impact on a sailboat cannot be entirely dismissed. Then there's the human element, often the most unpredictable variable. Was the sailboat involved in something clandestine, something that necessitated its immediate and complete removal? The 6 hours of tracking could have been the prelude to an interception, which then went catastrophically wrong. Or perhaps the vessel was a decoy, part of a larger, more complex operation that required its staged disappearance. These theories, while speculative, highlight the inherent mystery when advanced technology fails to provide answers. Consider the implications for maritime security and surveillance. If a vessel can simply vanish from the most sophisticated tracking systems available, it raises serious questions about the effectiveness of current monitoring protocols. It suggests a vulnerability, a gap in the digital net that supposedly covers our oceans. This is not just about a single lost sailboat. It's about the potential for illicit actors to exploit such blind spots, operating with impunity in the vast, untamed wilderness of the sea. The Navy's internal investigation into such an event would be intense and highly classified. The failure to account for a tracked vessel, especially one that simply disappeared, would be a significant operational concern. Every data point, every radar return, every satellite image would be scrutinized. Yet, if the official conclusion remains unexplained disappearance, it leaves a lingering sense of unease, a testament to the ocean's enduring power to humble even the most advanced human technology. What do you think happened to the sailboat? Was it a natural phenomenon, a catastrophic accident, or something far more sinister? Share your theories in the comments below.